Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 8th, 2023 Human Relations Commission meeting. We are going to turn it over to Ms. Ashley Elliott for Commissioner roll call, and then we'll turn it over to our Commissioner Blavitt to do our introduction as the chairperson. Ashley?
Okay, so you can just, when I call your name, you can just say present or here. Commissioner Bryan, Commissioner Greer,
Present.
Commissioner Rahman,
Yeah, I'm here.
Commissioner Blavitt,
Present.
Commissioner Jamil, Commissioner Willis King,
Present.
Commissioner Lewis, Commissioner Marshall,
Present.
Commissioner Blunt, Commissioner Myrick, and Commissioner, I'm sorry, I always get your name confused.
Probably looking for Commissioner Midashevsky, right?
Yes,
Commissioner
Okay.
Midashevsky.
present.
Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure that this is not one of the commissioners. I'm able to unmute them now. Good afternoon, or good evening. Could you please let us know who you are? Right. Okay. With that being said, thank you so much, Ashley, for taking roll call. As you know, it is important that we do keep keep a record of those who are attending the meeting that are in commissioner roles. We will now turn the floor over to our chairperson, Commissioner Blavitt.
Thank you, Ms. Brown Carter. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to get caught up on our accomplishments over the last month and where we're headed as far as commission. Again, I know at our last meeting, we actually are, through our celebration, an opportunity to look back on and really celebrate the past 60 years of the Baltimore County Human Relations Commission, where we've come from and where we have to go. And we're going to get a little bit more of that later on in the meeting with the plans for the future and how that'll be rolled out. Also wanted to share that I know a lot of commissioners, we discussed that the terms are expiring in the next couple of years. But I want to thank you for your service, and for those that are terming out at this end of this calendar year, thank you. And also looking forward to continuing the work with the other commissioners that will be staying on for another year. So a lot of work moving forward, a lot of positive to come from, and in a world where right now we seem to be enveloped in negative, be it societally or politically, just internationally. It's like an important job to look for that bright light, that positive next step that we can take and do our small part in making Baltimore County a stronger and safer place for all the citizens. So again, we're moving forward. And with that, actually, I'll turn it over to you, the commissioners. If you have anything that you want to share out of your particular districts regarding activities that have taken place or things that are coming up over the course of the next month or so. Okay, I've captivated everyone with my comments. So with that,
Brother Jamil just texted. He said he's there, but we can't hear him. So I don't know what that means.
okay, thanks, Commissioner Rahman. We'll see if I'm sure Ms. Brown Carter will do her diligence to locate where he is there and make sure. And I see Commissioner Blount is on as well now. So we'll update the minutes to reflect that Commissioner Jamil and Commissioner Blount are present. And with that, actually, I'll turn it over to the executive director, Ms. Peoples-Brown, to give you a report. For your team, I guess, as you wish.
Thank you, Chairman Blather, and good evening to everyone again. It's so good to see you, although it's virtual. Chairman Blather shared, I just want to echo our appreciation for the service that you have and continue to provide. The 60th anniversary celebration, we received nothing but favorable feedback, and so I definitely want to shout out to our team, our core team here, who you see on the screen. Definitely Ramona, Ashley, Bibios, Tasha, and as well as others who are in other areas of the DEI division. It was definitely a team effort, and uh, Councilman Marks, he too expressed his appreciation for the great work that has been done and that is being done. And so again, we hope that you all felt appreciated, because that was truly one of the outcomes, not only to celebrate our successes, but that you too felt appreciated for all of the dedication and time allocation that you provided to the commission for quite some time. We do have some updates that we want to share with you. But first, I'm going to turn it over to Ramona. She has a few updates related to hate bias that I would like for her to share.
Oh, good. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Chief Peoples, for allowing the floor to me. We want to keep you in mind, keep you abreast of what is happening as far as hate crimes and hate bias incidents are concerned. We do know that in the month of September's meeting, we were talking about the way incidents and crimes are reported to the police. And so we are working with the Baltimore County Police Department to ensure that we get the correct responses that we need in order to report to you how we're moving forward with the understanding of what is the difference between a hate bias crime and a hate bias incident. That also ties into a future event that it will be taking place in 2024 with the Office of the Attorney General. They are planning a larger hate bias crimes and incidents reporting forum. I do know I did see Commissioner Bryant there in Montgomery County. They hosted one for that particular region, and Baltimore City and Baltimore County will be hosting our region in 2024. So hopefully by the time we gather again in December, we'll definitely have a date for you for that particular event, but more so importantly, we'll have the information to report to you pertaining the information that we are collecting and gathering from the Baltimore County Police Department. And with that, I yield the floor back to our Chief Peoples-Brown.
Thank you, Ramona. And just to elaborate, so what was brought up at the September meeting, and I know that it's been brought up at past meetings as well, is the number of hate bias or hate crime events that we would illustrate, if you will, or share with you all that didn't necessarily comport with what you all are seeing throughout the community. And so what we've identified is that there is truly a difference between the definition of a hate bias event versus a hate crime. And what we typically share with you on a monthly basis is the hate crime information. And so what we want to do is have a conversation internally on just how the classifications are being made, and to see if we are able to identify a methodology in sharing with you both the hate bias as well as the hate crime information, because we think that that will more accurately depict not only what we're receiving from our police department, but most importantly, what you're seeing throughout the community, so that we can indeed be more intentional about our targeting and future follow-up. So we will have, as Rona mentioned, a better update for you at our December meeting.
Thank you very much for that. I know Commissioner Jamil is having some technical issues, but I know that was something that he had raised, and Commissioner Rahman as well. But for all of us, that is a huge step. Thank you for hearing a request, taking the initiative, and moving that forward.
Absolutely. Yes, Commissioner Rahman.
I just because hate crime against the Muslim has gone absolutely out of control, especially in schools also, and so I don't know if the police had reported anything of these. And it's a very scary time for us. I wish Brother Jamil could talk. I think he would be able to give you pinpoint exactly what's happening. So I just wondering if you guys heard anything about it.
So no data to report today, but at the December meeting, we'll have both October and hopefully November to share with you regarding that. Speaking of our youth, and Ramona, you can pull up the slide deck. We do have this upcoming Saturday a Teens and Tweens Youth Summit to target the youth violence that's been happening. This event will really focus on um, empowering our youth to come forth and share what their concerns are, what their issues, are perceived to be, as well as being able to identify collectively potential mitigation strategies to identify, to identify and address what's going on for all intents and purposes. This is one question I often struggle with is, what is happening? So we encourage all who are able to participate with us this Saturday. It'll be at Newtown High School. We'll send out the flyers post meeting so that you can have it as a separate invite, a separate attachment for you to be able to have the information as well as promote it throughout your various networks. But to that point, Commissioner Rahman, we have, heard in the news, we've all seen just an uptick as far as youth are concerned with the various hate bias events. And so we're hoping to be able to address some of that this weekend. We also have on Sunday a Veterans Day celebration. I don't know if we have any veterans on the commission, but if you are, thank you for your service. And we hope that you are able to participate. It will be held at Towson University in the University Union. Again, this is on Sunday at noon, and the event on Saturday is at Newtown High School, and it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we have just one other event, which will be our final meeting of the year on December 12th. And it too will be virtual, just as a FYI. So we hope that you all are able to participate. We don't anticipate it being too long. We know that we're rolling into the holiday season and, competing priorities, but we do hope that you will make the time to join us for that December virtual meeting. Okay.
So, can I? I thought we were going to get together that day because that's the last one for many of us old timers, right? And end of the year, we used to do some fun stuff, and really say goodbye to the rest of people. It would have been so nice to do that one. So, what happened to that?
So we shared and prior to the 60th celebration that would be our last in-person meeting for the year, and that meeting was served as our final quote unquote in-person celebration.
That was not meet and greet. It was a hi. You did a good job. That's what that was. But anyway, I
will say this. I mean, you talk about what I just finished sharing was an actual meeting. By all means, if you all would like to get together in person, I certainly encourage it. For personal reasons, I won't be there, which we can talk offline about. You may recall an announcement I made at the October meeting, but I will say, for those who are interested in getting together, we can certainly have a separate offline conversation to plan something. It doesn't have to be anything in Towson. It could be something, separate, but we can talk certainly offline about that.
Chief Peoples Brown, I see that Commissioner King is waving to get your attention, and Commissioner Blount has his hand up, raised as well. Commissioner
Okay.
King?
I just had a question about the Teens and Tweens Youth Summit. I was wondering if it has been advertised in the schools.
Yes, it definitely has. I know that the superintendent, Dr. Rogers, has blessed it, and so it has definitely been circulated. We, as in Baltimore County government, along with the schools and others, have been co-supporters of the event. But the event is actually hosted by a local nonprofit, Miracles and More. But yes, it definitely has been circulated throughout the schools. I think we have roughly 70 or so youth who have registered.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Commissioner Blount?
Yes, a couple of things. As you guys may have seen in the chat, I was apologizing for being late. I was trying to find the password, the panelist password, which I did. But getting back with some of the upcoming events, one of the things that I was pretty disturbed about yesterday, I was up at Newtown, and it was about 5 or 6 police cars there, and it was unbelievable. Kids were running, fighting. It was an incident there where a young man was trying to shoot a student there. It was just horrible, horrible. So to hear about this event at the schools is certainly needed. Certainly needed. The young, I was able to speak with one of the students there. They said, "Sir, it's horrible in school. These things happen all the time. We really need someone to come in and to talk to the kids and to talk to the staff because it is outrageous." He said, "I don't even know if I'm gonna make it home." That's how bad it is in the schools, and it's really horrifying to hear. I mean, when you're trying to go there to get an education and you're fighting for your life, you got to deal with all these things. But it was 5 or 6 police cars there. It was just out of control yesterday. So, hopefully we can intervene in the school systems and kind of support these young folks because they certainly need our input on trying to make that environment a safe place for them to learn. So that's one thing. The other part about the Veterans Commission, I am a retired veteran. I am part of this event. I am a commissioner for Veterans Affairs. We helped started this event over a year ago. We've been working on this event for a year. We went to Johnny Oshesky and asked him to start this commission. This commission has not been active in Baltimore County for over 10 years. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine it? Over 45,000 veterans live in Baltimore County. That's just the ones that we can track. There's tons more. And we didn't even have a commission. So to have this commission come together, to have this event to come to fruition was very important for all of us to get it going. So this event on Sunday, it is at Towson State University. We're looking to have between 1,500 and 2,000 people there. We're going to have Mission Barbecue there. We're going to have events for the kids. It's going to resource center for everything. They can come and find out if they can file a claim, if they can get a loan, any benefit that they may think of, we will have someone from an agency there to represent it. And we're going to have keynote speakers. This is a real big event, and it's blasted all over everywhere over social media. So yeah, this is an event. This is a no miss event. It's been a lot of work put behind the scenes. So I just want you guys to know, when you ask, is there a veteran on the commission? I am a veteran. So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
see you guys
Sharon.
come out and support this.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Blount, and thank you for sharing the historical perspective on how the commission was reestablished, if you will. It's exciting to know that the fruit that will be established, this coming Sunday, to be able to just give back and pay tribute and celebration to all those who have served. And thank you for your work on this. You're a very busy man, so we appreciate you taking the time to serve in this capacity on human relations as well as the veterans. So that's very exciting. So to all who are available, please uh, pass along and make yourself available to attend um, both the Saturday event with the teens and the teens and tweens, as well as the veterans event on Sunday. All right, thank you. So this is just a proposal that we wanted to share with you all today. We wanted to introduce it today and at the December meeting, take an official vote. But this is the proposed meeting schedule for 2024. Um, as you can see in January, we know that folks, will be transitioning from, holiday vacation. Um, and we want to just be mindful of that. So our proposal is to not have a January meeting, but to reconvene in February virtually. That we also went through the calendar for the entire year to identify potential religious and other conflicts. And so we did identify one in February. And Ramona, you would have to remind me what it is. We can update this on what the conflicts are and send that to you all. But the proposal would be to move the February meeting to the third Wednesday as opposed to the second, for us to meet in person in March, for us to move the April convening from the uh, second Wednesday to the third Wednesday. I think that was Ash Wednesday. That was the second week in April. And then the only other addition would be in June, for us to meet that first Wednesday as opposed to that second. And that decision was proposed because of summer breaks and summer vacations. So we know, with school and just personal, family travel, we figured we better try to schedule it early to convene everyone so that it's not tying up anyone's summer. And then just as we did this year, to not have any summer meetings, so no July or August. And then we would pick back up in September. So you all have this already, but what we'll do is update it with the potential conflicts, which is why we would propose moving it to the third or first Wednesday instead. And we, as I mentioned, we would take it up for vote at the December meeting. Okay. Was there any discussion on this? Any comment?
Only one comment. I thought in the past we've always talked about at least having 4 in-person meetings a year. That would be my only question.
Mm-hmm. We could certainly, explore that. I will say, we do anticipate having at least 2 strategic planning meetings next year as well. They would likely fall. Ramona, can you go back one slide? They would likely fall on the March and June in-person meeting dates. We try to make it convenient. Our strategic planning sessions will always be in person. We have phase 2 and 3 that we need to talk about. I'll go into it in just a moment, but just another added food for thought for the in-person meetings, specifically the March and the June one. We were thinking about the strategic planning session that being during the day, and then of course us rolling into our public meeting that evening. So, okay, Ramona. So we already talked about the 60th celebration. Just wanted to thank you all again. We do uh, for those who would be, you can go ahead and advance, Ramona. For those who would be um, uh, ending their appointment for that specific year, for the October meeting, we would, just as we did this year, just make this an annual thing to just have a celebration, to show honor and, you know, provide citations, or awards, if you will, for that year. I believe that having awards is something that you all may have done in the past, and so we're just trying to reinstitute some things to, uh, you know, just take a moment to actually, you know, just reflect on all of the hard work. One of the things that I often promote is that you all volunteers. You don't have to do this. And so, you know, we definitely uh, come from the school of, you know, giving honor when honors due. And so we do want to reserve that October time frame, which we did propose for that to remain as an in-person meeting, to celebrate that. We know that once we roll more into the winter season, that gives us the potential of inclement weather, which is why we didn't necessarily propose to have an in-person meeting in November or December. So, but that doesn't mean, to your point, Commissioner Rahman, that you can't set up something separate. So, but the strategic plan. So we've all been talking about it. I went over this during the 60th anniversary, but I wanted to go over it again, just to reiterate and to make certain that we're all on the same page on where we're headed. So phase one, this is the phase that we have currently, we're going ready to wrap up, in fact, and I thank all of those who have been able and willing to participate with us for the very strategic planning sessions, as well as interviews with our vendor to get us to this point. It's very, very important that we have a clear and defined path forward. And as a result of the ongoing initiative, we have prepared the position, role, and responsibilities of the commissioner. This is a little different than the oath that you all take, if you will. This is definitely much more detailed and specific to what's expected of a commissioner. We've been able to identify opportunities to maximize our awareness in general. We are working on a marketing strategy to better promote and enhance our reach throughout the community related to human relations. So many, unfortunately, don't know that we exist, or even why we exist. And so we definitely want to do a better job at ensuring that the community knows how to engage with us. And then, of course, that ties into also increased visibility. So it's directly related to you all's role in the community, making certain that uh, this ties into both maximizing awareness and the role of the commissioner, making sure that when you all are serving, um, you know that your role is an active role, if you will. It's not a matter of just, you know, coming to report, you know, what you all are seeing, but what we hope to define in future phases is what the activities will be associated with the commissioner's role, whether it's being to, you know, helping plan a community event, whether it's you know, a matter of you know, working on advocating for a specific legislative change or whatever the case may be. But when we say active, we really do mean active, and we just you know, wanted to well, which we did accomplish collectively, define what the roles will be. Okay, we can go ahead and advance. So phase two, which we plan to discuss in March, are the standard operating procedures. So we know that historically the commission has not necessarily been able to review cases. And so as a result of our strategic planning session, we identified the ability to establish a business process that will allow you all to review closed cases. And this was done in part for a few reasons. The first is the amount of time, the turnaround time that it would take for you all to review an open case would be rather quick. And we know that, again, you all are volunteers. Your timing may not align with our timing. And so we do have the subject matter experts in house, and so we want to be able to be respondent in a timely manner to those who come forth with a complaint who that may eventually evolve into a case. And so what we settled on as a part, again, of the strategic planning process is to have you all review closed cases. And so we're in the process of building out what that standard operating procedure would look like for you all, so that you have clear guidance on what it is that you're reviewing and what questions you should be thinking about throughout your review. We are working with the DEI Community Council, which is an entity that we are also reimagining. But the tie-in would be if there are initiatives that you all identify as different trends, for example, and you say, you know what, we think that there needs to be a, big P policy change. There may be legislation that needs to be changed. Well, you wouldn't necessarily have to take all of the or absorb all of the responsibility. We would work coincide with the DEI Community Council to support you all in that endeavor. So it will be a coexisting entity as it relates to the closed cases. I'll pause there because I know this is something totally new, to see if there are any questions or feedback.
Steve, I'm going to try and unmute Commissioner Jamil. There was a message that said, and if one of the co-hosts, if you could try and help me, Ashley or Bibios, if someone could try and see if they can unmute Commissioner Jamil, because I'm trying to get to him, but because I'm sharing, I'm having a hard time.
Okay.
Hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah, you got in.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Right now, I'm able to speak. So whenever you get a chance, I would like to make a suggestion to the commission.
Okay. Is it in relation to the strategic plan or something separate?
No, it is that the affairs in the school system to prevent the polarization amongst our students. We are already a divided nation, and this problem about the discipline is exacerbated by the principals and staff discussing Middle East issues. They should not discuss those issues in room.
So Commissioner Jamil, I just want to make sure we stay on subject. We'll definitely come back to you for that additional comment. I just was asking if you had a comment related to the strategic plan.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Okay, Ramona, you can advance to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, back one slide. In addition to the standard operating procedures that the commissioners will have related to reviewing closed cases, we too are developing standard operating procedures for us. We anticipate with all of the additional marketing and outreach that we will receive an influx of complaints that may potentially evolve into cases. And so we just want to make certain that we have a more standardized business process for managing the anticipated influx. So just as much as we're working for developing you all's process, we're refining how we are managing the process internally as well as what the business process will be for the frequency in which you all will review or receive the closed cases, various redactions and so forth. So we will, of course, keep you posted on both. As I mentioned, we anticipated that by March we will have both standard operating procedures finalized, and we will go into more detail about what it includes at our March strategic planning session and to flesh through any feedback that you may have. We can advance. And so phase 3, this is our 5-year plan. And this will really focus on our goals, what our focus will be, our priorities. Just as an example, we just finished having a really great conversation about our veterans as well as our youth. These could potentially be 2 areas that we agree that we would like to focus on over the next 5 years. But what we would need to be specific about is what will be our strategy for engagement. What related to youth are we addressing? We know that these issues that these issues exist, but what will the human relations charge be to resolve them? What other efforts can we make to support our veterans? So as you see here, after we identify our goals, focus, and priorities, we have to identify our strategies for engagement. And then most importantly, our metrics. We need to be able to track not only what we're doing, but the impact. We don't want to just do things without any ability to measure it. And so this will be a part of phase 3, which will likely be introduced at the March strategic planning session, but will go into more detail in June. And so we anticipate that the strategic plan will be completely finalized by June 30th for rollout and implementation July 1st, which is the start of our fiscal year. So are there any questions, comments, feedback related to the strategic plan? Okay, you can go ahead and advance. So last, we have just a few reminders. We shared this again previously, but we wanted to just reiterate. So you can go ahead and advance this particular slide. So we had a very successful so far year when it comes to legislation, local legislation. We were able to codify our division of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we no longer exist through only executive order, and we also amended the Human Relations Commission governing entity, which is Article 29, specifically our ability to receive and really review complaints related to treatment, hostile treatment. This was an area absent in Article 29 previously that will take effect December 9th. So, we're very, very excited about this. We just finished having a robust conversation about hate bias and hate crime events. We've now, fixed, if you will, or broaden Article 29 to be able to address those in a more comprehensive way. Unfortunately, in the past, we were very limited in what we could and couldn't do. So we now do have the authority to act. And in addition to doing that, we also have the ability to refer cases to our circuit court and have them to issue a fine, depending upon how egregious the matter is, issue a fine or fee to up to $5,000 for bad actors. And so that's another huge win that we wanted to remind everyone of. Excuse me, and that passed, of course, this October. You can go ahead and advance, Ramona. Going back to the bill 3223, this was the bill that codified the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion There were some things related to the Human Relations Commission that were a part of that bill. The first is that we have now the ability to have youth serve on the commission. So, we any youth that you all know of who you think would be very interested and who would make great candidates, please send them our way. Please have them to apply. The age is between 16 and 18 that they must be at the time of the appointment, but we can have up to 3 youth who serve on the commission. That is just a um, huge win. In addition, we've been talking about the appointments. This is something that is also new, is a term limitation. So a commissioner may not serve more than 2 terms consecutively, which is a total of 4 years. We know that many of you have expressed, interest in wanting to continue as a commissioner. But what I encourage you is a couple of things. One, once a commissioner, always a commissioner, and we have, Commissioner Myrick who can tell you all about that. Just given her long term dedication. And what I just to speak more broadly is these meetings are open to the public, and so remember that um, just because you may no longer your seat has been resolved from you does not mean that we no longer want to hear or see your participation. We encourage you to continue to participate with us on the second Wednesday of every month and above and beyond. We talked about potential community events, community activities. We want you to continue to be involved with us. Please don't consider that because you are no longer have an appointed seat that you are no longer part of the commission experience. So I just wanted to make certain that you all understood what our perspective and our viewpoints are, because we definitely want you to continue to be engaged and involved. The other is, as I mentioned earlier, we had the DEI Community Council, which was established in 2019 along with um, the then Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We are reimagining the operation, the purpose of the DEI Community Council, as I mentioned earlier, and the DEI Community Council will be working closely with the commission, as I shared earlier, regarding the closed cases and doing any necessary follow up as it um, uh, evolves or is birthed, if you will, from the trends that are identified the commissioner. So that's another avenue, and we can send out information on the DEI Community Council. We don't anticipate those appointments to begin being confirmed until March of next year. We're still fleshing out. We have to redo that executive order, if you will, and so we're currently going through the draft iterations of that. But those are the 2 ways that you can definitely remain connected to the commission, both just as an attendee, participant, as well as a potential, if you are interested in serving as a DEI community council, because while it's separate, or should I say, while the council will work closely with the commission, it is a separate entity. And so we did want to just flag that, uh, flag this for you all. We just didn't want there to be any confusion or surprises. We do have several members whose term will expire this December, who will be notified by the end of this week. If they haven't already been, at least you'll be formally notified. I should say you'll receive a letter from our office. But again, we just want to thank everyone for their time, service, and talents that has been attributed, and just want you all to know that this is no way, shape, or form of dismissal, but hey, thank you for your service. Here's other ways we would love for you to stay engaged. So with that, I will pause for any questions related to anything that I've shared And if there aren't any, I'll turn it back over to Commissioner Jamil, who I know wanted to provide feedback related to the youth.
Any other questions for the executive director on the report? Okay, I don't see any hands on my screen. Commissioner Jamil, did you want to comment?
Yes.
Please
Thank
go ahead.
you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. My comment was related about one of the commissioners who talked about the problem in Newtown School. I have received reports from some youth groups, actually almost throughout the county, that some teachers, they are expressing their personal political positions in the classrooms, which is creating a division and lack of camaraderie amongst the students and polarizing them too. There was a major petition sent to the Board of Education by some Muslim organizations. And I was wondering if HRC has the obligation to call or inform the superintendent of school that they should instruct the teachers to keep their political positions and opinions outside of the classrooms. That does not create a healthy environment in the school system.
I certainly, again, I'll defer to the executive director. I obviously, it's a Baltimore County Schools issue, but obviously it's one where we've tried to partner in the past, and whether it's occurring at a time of very difficult time or even in quieter times, obviously there are certain parameters by which teachers are, I believe, instructed to teach curriculum as opposed to interjecting from outside the curriculum their own personal views. But I'll defer to the executive director, or also something that certainly can be shared back with the county executive and to look at through the school system.
I
Yes,
appreciate that, because I don't want to create any big ruckus, because I have names of particular people in particular schools who have done that. So I think there's a stricter instruction needed. That's not a place to discuss politics with the children. I don't mind if they're in college campuses and they can have the freedom of speech issue, but not a freedom of speech issue in a classroom or where it would disrupt the discipline of the students. So I appreciate it if something can be done from that aspect of it.
yes, thank you, Commissioner Jamil. We don't have jurisdiction over the school system. It is a separate entity, but we can certainly, just with our colleagues, our counterparts within the school system, share this feedback with them. We can just share. This was brought up to us through our commission for human relations, and we just wanted to make sure that the proper entities are aware.
Because if that is not done, we will have more discrimination problem, because the same kids are going to grow up and they will cause problems in the employment and housing and other things. So we have to groom them to be unbiased now. That's the part of the education that ultimately will be lesser problem for HRC to deal with. So I'm coming from that aspect of it. So
It's
as an advisory,
definitely very, very true. If we can address something when it's a smaller issue earlier on, you very much eliminate the need for more serious issues, more serious problems down the road. So
exactly.
thank you, and I appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and certainly we will make sure that gets conveyed along.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jamil, are you asking parents who are reporting this to document their issues so that if something comes up, that they're able to refer back to whom the issue was about?
Yeah, the parents have conveyed the message to the superintendent, And the superintendent just took it upon himself as if it was the Board of Education that was doing that. But I'm taking the step further where the Board of Education should instruct the respective school systems, the respective school principals, and not just the board saying, oh no, we are being even on both sides of the issue, and we are not, okay. There is no practical aspect of it that I see. I have received the report as late as yesterday. And the Board of Education superintendent released the report also yesterday. So they're contradictory. So I'm not saying that we don't have the right to go in front of the Board of Education and raise the issue. I was only wondering that for the Human Relations Commission to advise them, I know that we cannot say anything to them, advise them that this is the feedback. And maybe the board, superintendent, whatever, they would become more proactive instead of reactive.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This may very well come up one Saturday at the youth summit. I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Commissioner Jamil, he's right on point with that, because if you don't start early with our children, things can get out of control, as we are seeing things happening now with our juveniles. So that he has a point there. So there is some need to address this at a proactive level.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for understanding. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing it forward.
Any other comments on Commissioner Jamil's remarks or the executive director's report?
The gift that I had bought for exchanging in December, what should I do with it?
Well, to defer that thought for a moment.
Okay.
Any other new business that commissioners wish to raise for the commission to consider? Okay, I do not see any there. All right. Well, with that, our next meeting is scheduled for December 13th. That will be a virtual commission meeting. And at this point, we will conclude the official meeting of the Baltimore County Human Relations Commission, and we will stop the recording.
Thank you for joining tonight's meeting. This meeting will be uploaded to the Human Relations Commission website. For further agenda and meeting minutes, you may refer to the website as well. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.